Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin shocked the F1 world with their incredible performance in the first third of the 2023 season. It's safe to say we were all far less impressed in how they built on that strong start though. Like the 2022 Ferrari team, nothing they did made any improvement to the car, and Alonso went from regular podium finisher to a lower points opportunist, making the most of his chances when he could. The hint of a car that could challenge for race wins has got him hooked. Alonso is back to his laser-focused best, and he's making demands of his team to match him. Today, I'll check out how Aston Martin plans to repeat their early season success this year, and why Alonso could be the catalyst for the team's first race win. Let's check it out. On social media, Fernando Alonso posted this close-up shot of himself in Aston Martin's simulator titled "Locked in, no distractions." And that's exactly what the picture conveys. A laser-focused F1 driver ensconced in his team's sim, his eyes fixed on the virtual track unfolding before him. Aston and Alonso's preparations for 2024 are in full flight. Team and driver face the big task of recapturing their early season form from last year and re-establishing themselves as proper contenders for podiums and hopefully victories. At 42, Alonso's determination remains unwavering, his hunger for victory undimmed. But the road ahead is fraught with obstacles, and the path to success will require not only individual brilliance, but also collective effort. This is what Alonso brings to an F1 team. He will push and push and push until the team either wins or they break. At Alpine, he pushed and pushed and pushed, and eventually, the team broke. They couldn't match his insatiable need for improvement and wouldn't put faith in him with a long-term contract. With his age, their decision was understandable, but after a year at Aston Martin, he's proved them completely wrong. Alonso isn't slowing down. His dedication to Formula 1 means he's still in peak physical condition, and for the time being, there's nothing to make anyone think that he wants to retire anytime soon. Aston Martin have realized that they can harness Nando's incomparable experience of car development and setup and use him to drive the team up the grid. Team principal Mike Crack is more than happy to handle the petulant side of Alonso to have access to everything else he offers. "We had a driver where you would have thought it was his first season," said team principal Mike Crack concerning a man who undoubtedly belied his 42 years of age. In 2023, Fernando was full of enthusiasm, passion, drive, and the excitement of someone who has never stepped foot in an F1 car. Driving a car again worthy of his talent? Given his ill-fated spells at McLaren, an era that heralded retirement from F1, and then with Alpine on his return after 2 years out, during which time he rediscovered his love of driving by competing in other categories. Alonso rolled back the years over the first third of the last season. Alonso scored 6 podiums in the first 8 races. Many feel that, but for a strategic error from Aston Martin in Monaco, he would have ended a winless drought that now stretches back almost 11 years and an astonishing 176 Grand Prix, going into what will be his equally as remarkable 20th season in F1. Aston Martin's aim has always been to challenge for titles. Of course, that is every team's aim, but with an owner like Lawrence Stroll behind the team, that aim has to be taken seriously. They are building their platform toward fulfilling owner Lawrence Stroll's 5-year plan in becoming true title contenders. With 3 of those 5 years gone by, Aston Martin certainly look like they're on the right path, though competing with the current iteration of the Red Bull team may be impossible for any outfit currently on the grid. It was a challenge Alonso was determined to embrace. Aston Martin finished 7th in the Constructors' Championship in 2022, Vettel's final year, arguably disappointing given the resources at the team's disposal. Alonso saw the bigger picture, believing he was not jumping out the frying pan into the fire in leaving the manufacturer-backed Alpine for a mid-table rival, outlining that Alonso did not simply join Aston Martin for the paycheck. Crack said, "A lot of drivers go to smaller teams and they try to take what they can through to the end of their career. This is not what we've seen from Fernando. Actually, it's completely the opposite. We had a driver where you would have thought it was his first season. He was full of energy, not only driving us on but also driving himself on. He really led by example, being the first in the office. You arrive in the morning and he's sitting there. He would jokingly say, "Good afternoon, guys." This leading by example has affected the team, pushed the team, and we have a much better team now than 12 months ago. Obviously, this is also credit to others, not only to Fernando, but this has made us improve much more than we would have if he was not here. As with any team that had their first taste of success, Aston Martin was unsure how to deal with it. They tried to improve on what they already had, but mistakes were made, and after those incredible first 8 races, they stagnated. Many drivers would have complained to the media. If Alonso was still at Alpine, he would certainly be complaining. But at Aston Martin, he was encouraging. He said the team were working at it. He admitted they'd made mistakes. He always spoke about himself as part of the team. What was arguably one of Alonso's most impressive traits throughout the season was that in qualifying in particular, he was truly exemplary, with arguably only Verstappen maintaining such a high level. It was not until the 18th race of the season in Austin, when Aston Martin was at the height of its experimentation with the car, that Alonso failed to make it into Q3. It was a similar story at the following race in Mexico City, before a recovery for the final 3 races. Crack readily concedes that having a driver who consistently leaves nothing on the table is a revelation, and ensures there's no need within the team to second-guess what the car is capable of. "It is something we're aware of," said Crack. When you have this high level of driving, and this high level of motivation and push, and when you see the record he had in Quali 3, always bringing the car there, you do not have these questions, can the car go faster? It's very good for the team, and it builds also a lot of trust from the team to the driver and vice versa, and the drivers feel that. Drivers are very sensitive sensors. They can feel the smallest vibrations in the team. I think Fernando feels very comfortable in this team because he feels this trust we have, and nobody's ever doubting when he does something, and that works both ways. Aston Martin are reaping the benefit of that trust in Alonso. He joined the team at the post-season test in 2022, and his input over the winter had a massive impact on the leap in performance the team experienced at the start of 2023. Sebastian Vettel likely played a part as well, but Alonso's drive, his constant demands for more from the team, and his unmatched experience gave the team an impetus they previously lacked. There was a point in the season when Alonso's teammate Lance Stroll seemingly lost his way, becoming so disenchanted with events at one stage in Qatar that he was captured pushing trainer Henry Howe out of the way as he exited at the back of the garage. With Alonso consistently at the top of his game, Crack concedes it's really not easy to be the Spaniard's teammate. He feels, however, there is no question Stroll has learned a huge amount from Fernando in terms of how to manage difficult situations. You always look at what your teammate is doing, how he's behaving, how he's handling things, said Crack. But we've all learned a great deal, how we have to go on with things, to stick to what we know, and not trying to invent things, but sticking to our data, to the analysis, and moving on from there. And they are great teammates. They talk a lot, how to improve here, how to improve there, how do you drive here, how do you drive there. This is complementary to all the driving analysis that we also do. So I think they've really helped each other, and again, as a team, with our drivers, we're now much stronger now than we were 12 months ago. There will be a question mark over Lance Stroll's place on the team until he can really compete with the best, and even then, his father's ownership will make people question him. How Lance performs this year could have a massive effect on the team's 5-year plan. If he can learn from Fernando and improve, and if everything else continues improving on the technical side for the team, then maybe they can achieve Lawrence Stroll's aim of a championship before the new regulations in 2026. But if Lance can't improve this year, then it might finally be time for him to move on. The driver market will be as open as it'll ever be, and if Aston Martin are to challenge for a title, then they need 2 drivers who can make that happen. For now though, Lance shares in the vision of the team. He wants to be a part of this project and to help contribute to the historic brand becoming Formula 1 champions. For this season, the team has a new mantra that perfectly describes Alonso's dedication to F1. Hyperfocus means total dedication to what you do, to be united, to send a message that we are here to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everyone going 100%, Alonso said. A single-minded approach to our winning ambitions, Stroll added. Blocking out the noise and only concentrating on what matters. That's what Hyperfocus is. Team principal Mike Crack, meanwhile, said, Hyperfocus is our very clear vision and ambition to build a winning race team. 3 pivotal parts of a team, working within the same rule set and working together towards the same aim. Aston Martin have instilled within themselves the right mindset and methodology to recapture the incredible form from spring 2023. This time around, though, they should have learned from the mistakes they made in the summer. They will be better prepared to match the development of those around them. To their advantage, they aren't building a brand new car like Mercedes and Ferrari, they're building on what they already have, which, in theory, means a more refined machine. Alonso's ability to drive his team forward will be vital to them continuing to improve in 2024, but Lance Stroll may be just as important. Fractures to both wrists following a cycling accident in the off-season meant Stroll could not take full advantage of the package Aston Martin brought at the start of the 2023 season like Alonso. The team's plight in the 2023 development race also meant Stroll could never recover. Stroll finished last season 10th in the drivers' standings with 74 points to help Aston Martin secure 5th in the team standings. The Silverstone squad slipped behind Mercedes, Ferrari and McLaren as their rivals made inroads into Aston Martin's advantage through the season. 10th place in the Drivers' Championship still marked a personal best campaign for Stroll. He set his previous best in 2020, whilst the team still operated as Racing Point with P11. Nando really showed Stroll what the AMR23 could do. This included 8 podiums and 3 front row starts. While Alonso was often fighting for podium finishes, Stroll was in the midfield, with a Canadian only achieving 3 top 5 finishes, 2 of which came in the final 3 Grand Prix. Alonso more than doubled Stroll's points, beating him 206 to 74. If Fernando really can take on the role of tutor to Lance, pushing the Canadian to improve at the same rate as the team around him, then Aston Martin will be a serious threat to the front of the grid, and Mercedes, McLaren and Ferrari need to be worried. Aston Martin are gearing up to unveil their 2024 challenger, the AMR24, on Monday, February 12th. We'll then see it on track at preseason testing on the 23rd of February, and my money is on them to be the surprise package of the season once again. Do you think Fernando can be the spearhead of Aston Martin and really drive them forward in 2024? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.